I'd like to call to order the regular meeting for the DDA, Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Next, we have the roll call.
We'll do the roll call, and then we'll have Mr. Clark as our new member, and we'll you can give us a little introduction at the end of that. Will that be good? All right. So, Denise Sager.
Present.
Eric Jacobs.
Here.
Dr. Hyder.
Present.
Donald Clark.
Present.
Randy Walker.
Here.
Mike Berry. We'll be waiting for him, I assume. Alex Baydoun has asked to be excused. Lori Wilconis.
Here.
And Mr. Bozzi has asked to be excused also. And then Dr. Nasruddin, I have not heard yet from him. But you do have a quorum with 6 members present.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Clark, we'll do a little introduction.
So I'll introduce myself. I'm Don Clark. I've been in Garden City since 1987, a long time, either practicing by myself or practicing in a group. I established my personal practice in 2004, so been here for quite a little bit of time. So know a lot of people in Garden City and have a vested interest in this place. So I'd really like to make it better if at all possible.
Okay.
You're at Clark Center for Comprehensive Medicine at 29521 Ford Road.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for accepting.
When I say 1987, I feel like I'm choking myself at the same time. I'm like, how could it be that far away? You know?
Yeah,
For sure.
Short time.
Yes.
it is. Okay, next we'll move on to the approval of the agenda.
I'll move for that.
Okay. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we have 6-0, motion passes. Do we have any presentations tonight?
No.
Okay. Community events? Nothing there. Okay. Public comments for agenda items only. We don't have anyone attending this evening. So with that, we will move on to the next item. Items for consideration is the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, thank you. Do we have support?
Support.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Next.
One moment, please. I did want to, I'm sorry, I'm flipping as I go. On page 5 of your agenda packet, at the top of the page, I'm numbering the agenda so we don't get confused.
Okay.
I don't get confused. But this is a little different of a report than we've seen in the past, just regarding what was paid. So this is from our BS&A system, and it shows us exactly, what account, what general ledger line item things have been paid, and then below is a summary of what was spent within the month. And I know $30,000 looks like a lot, but we had a couple large things in there. One was clean green energy. One of those, if you remember at the last meeting, we had the light pole, so that was $18,761. That was in there, and then of course their payment for $493.94 is in there. And then also we had the purchase of the freight shipping container in there. So I don't want to alarm you with a larger number, but I just wanted you to know where exactly the money went. And also that the report has changed a little bit, that the accounting department here is able to take all of our check requests and really just press a button. We were doing like a separate Excel spreadsheet, and we figured we may as well, this is really the horse's mouth. And if there's a mistake, we can find it here, of course, too. But sometimes when you take a spreadsheet and make another one, it may not be correct. So this also, these checks are also then tracked for cash and all of that, so that if it's cashed or not cashed, we'll be able to go back and see exact copy of the check, who cashed it, all of that, if there's a problem with a vendor saying, oh, I didn't get that payment or something like that.
Okay.
So,
Do we have any idea on the timing from reimbursement on the insurance for the payment that we made to clean?
I don't,
CG?
it usually is quite quick, so I can
Okay.
check for you though.
Okay.
So,
Because
Well,
we're
actually,
expecting like 17 of that to come back, right?
yes, for
Okay.
17 or 18?
Well, $1,000,
Deductible,
Yes.
right.
Then we'll
Yeah.
have to
For the
look
light
at that
access
for
to
many
Yes.
more. So,
Yep.
That was it.
okay, so you would also
That's-
pursue the $1,000 to come back from a mini
We're
tort
gonna
claim?
try through MMRMA.
We'll get
Okay,
17,000 back.
And that was a car accident, Mr. Clark, that a vehicle struck a lot of the public.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was close to
It
you.
was very close to me.
Yes, so, so we are responsible for the payment to the vendor, but then we get reimbursed from our insurance carrier if damage was done to public infrastructure.
okay.
Okay, sorry, thank you.
That's all right.
Right.
Anything else? All right, so we already passed that. Next is item B, action items. Number 1 is the attorney presentation.
Yes, I'm sorry, it was a little, might have confused you. It confused me for a minute, too. Under there, hi, Mr. Berry. Sorry. The attorney, when I had made contact after we made the motion last time, that he would like to come out and talk to us, and I didn't know if you wanted to schedule that or have me invite him to see when I could fit it into the schedule. The next meeting for the board is either on the 25th of June or in August, and so I just wanted to know if you wanted to have a presentation. I kind of also thought we could couple the presentation with maybe just a little in-service information about DDAs and kind of his thoughts about the legalities of DDAs and just to make sure that we're all in compliance and all of that, so.
Yeah, I think that would be a nice
Okay.
thing to extend
Presentation, the new
and
one.
have him present to the board.
He did tell me he would do it gratis,
Oh, even better.
so, free,
Oh, I was gonna say, is this gonna be a
Yes.
billable item?
so. I
Okay.
asked that specifically, so.
Okay. All right, so if
Can
we
he-
can get that set up at the next meeting or the following one?
Okay.
We
Oh,
will introduce them real quick.
oh, sure. Sorry.
This is Dr. Clark, Don Clark, this is Mike Berry. He's our newest member.
We got to vote.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an action item.
Oh,
You got to
right.
get a motion.
Okay. Yes.
So
So we need,
I move to have the attorney come and give us a presentation at the next meeting in June.
okay, do we have support?
Support.
Okay, I heard Dr. Hyder first. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next action item is the Northeast Quadrant Survey.
This is, when I say the northeast quadrant, I'm referring to the commons, the property at the northeast corner of Middle Belt and Ford Road. And the Lucky Squirrel was there, and I thought it might be helpful for us as we begin some planning efforts in regards to the housing survey and the housing grant that we received in the city as a whole, but I know that we talked specifically about those quadrants, the northeast, the northwest quadrant. I thought that since the city owns the property over there, as opposed to the property not being owned where Kmart was, I just thought that we might be able to, I don't even know the cost, before I went down the road too far, I just wanted to see what the board thought about getting a survey to find out exactly where we own. I don't know. We have different pavement out there. I don't know where the property lines are. I don't know where easements are. I think that if we go forward with any effort at all for planning, for a park, for redevelopment, or any utilization of the land, we really should know what we own. And I really don't have that. I was looking through the files in the office. I couldn't find any exact survey of the property either. And I just
I thought we had something, or city manager had something with, he pulls up on the Wayne County, whatever that website is, and it,
parcel viewer.
yeah, and it has what we have. I know it's not probably dimensions, but it's close, but if we wanted to get an actual survey,
So, Matt, I know like a residential survey is about $1,200. Do you know what the cost would be approximately to have
I
that
was-
done on the commercial property?
I was thinking probably 2,000. I'm not sure,
Okay.
you know.
Do we have someone that we would work with specifically?
No, I would just go out and see quotes to see what it was, so, but I didn't want to go down the path if you don't feel it's necessary, or we don't want to know. I just think that there's got to be easements there for utilities, also access easements possibly from LaCritz Weber has them on the property, and then up at on Ford Road, I'm not 100% sure, the parcel viewer, what the mayor is referring to, we can pull up and we can see parcels on the website, but they're shadows, there's not an exact location. And so I was trying to figure out what we own. I really can't. But if we had a survey that we'd be able to maybe,
Right. 'Cause
put that in the tool on the shelf so that we know what we've got.
Yeah, because we've had conversations before about the parking back there and how it's all, partially by, each individual owner there or whatever. So, I think there was talk of maybe trying to get some lease for $1 so that the city can maintain,
This
that
is the
parking lot?
The other part, behind Oakwood.
And this is the northeast
Oh, the
quadrant.
northeast
Yes,
quadrant.
where
Oh, yeah,
Planet
sorry.
Fitness is.
Farmers
I'm
market.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky
Sorry,
School.
thinking the
Okay.
northwest.
Okay.
can we make a motion then to maybe get quotes and then discuss it at the next meeting?
Would it make sense to do maybe both at the same time, the northeast and the northwest? Having those surveyed?
I got a guy
Like-
that did my property over in Dearborn. He's pretty reasonable. I can forward him to you guys.
Okay.
Luis Cantor. He was pretty cheap.
Louis
Around-
Cantor's been around for many, many years.
Yeah,
I
he's
used
good.
him many times in the
Yeah.
mortgage business.
He's good.
Yes.
So, yes, the issue at hand is we don't own the northwest quadrant.
Oh,
That's
okay.
where I don't want to send a surveyor on property.
Does the city own some? of
We
it?
own some of that,
Do we
yes.
know what?
I have a pretty good idea of what we have. There's 3 lots over there that we own, and I'm 96% sure.
Okay.
So,
All right, so do we have a motion to,
Have a motion to get,
This would be to scale, right?
Yeah.
To get it done.
Yeah, it's supposed to be exact.
I would do both, so we know exactly what we got. If you're already gonna be doing that, he can go over there and do what, you said 3 spots,
3 lots over.
3 lots? I mean, if you're gonna do it, let's do it right.
Yes.
Is there
Yeah,
anything
because
else
it-
over in Kmart parking lot that we need surveys? Is that one of the ones you're referring
Yeah,
to?
yeah.
Yeah, then we should have it all.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, do it
Do
right.
it all.
let's,
That's right.
so I'll make a motion to get quotes on it, to bring it before the board next meeting, and then we can vote on if we want to move forward on it.
okay,
Because if it comes in really, really high, we can
Wanna
discuss
wait
it.
until
and
we
move-
need it.
We can move, one more month isn't probably going to hurt us.
Right, no.
So,
It may be the August meeting, just in case, so, okay.
Well, until we're ready to develop it or do something with it,
right,
kind of
okay, do we have support?
no rush.
Or,
no.
Okay,
So,
so, we've got,
yeah.
Yeah.
Maker again, I'm sorry.
Mayor Jacobs,
To get quotes, the motion to
And-
get quotes.
yeah, and Walker is support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next action item is the Police Officers Association Golf Invitational Sponsorship.
We have this on, we did receive a request from the Police Officers Association to have sponsorship there. In the past, we have done sponsorships for the Police Officers Association. I believe it was at the gold level on there, that's page 17. They also, of course, on top of them sending this, they've also sent an invitation to anybody here that would like to participate and support the Police Officers Association. The DDA wouldn't sponsor, but if 4 of you want to get together to get a foursome, I'm sure they would enjoy having you present at the event, so.
Okay. So do we have any input as far as the previous sponsorship being $300? Do we want to stick with that, or do we want to bump it to the $350?
Well, I think that 350 only if you have a foursome, right?
No,
No, you
No,
are
they
you
don't-
talking about the longest drive then?
correct.
Yeah, I think they kind of changed their
And even
sponsorship stuff.
the hole-in-one at $350, and then you'd pay $850 if you're doing a foursome as well. But I think we could do maybe $350 for the longest drive or just the hole-in-one. Would anybody care to have any additional input?
I'm okay with it.
Either one.
I'm good with at the gold, we can put a plaque up and sponsor a hole. I know I'd sponsor a hole, but that's whatever. But I think they've kind of changed how they've done it in the past, so. This one seems either I'd say either the gold or the longest drive. is
Well, if
what
you're
I-
doing the
Yeah.
hole-in-one, you get a professional-made sign placed at each par 3 hole.
What are the others?
The other
Well,
one just says placed at par 5 hole,
Yeah, but
which kind of,
the hole-in-one with you have to have a foursome. That's a price with a foursome. So you have to have a foursome to do that.
no,
Oh,
no,
I see.
it's
No.
either price, right?
No,
It
you're,
does have an
yeah,
address.
she's,
No, it
Yeah.
says price with foursome.
Price with a foursome.
Right, it's 350.
It's not no, it's $850.
Yeah, that's,
$850 with a foursome, or just $350 to sponsor the hole-in-one.
no, 350 is the longest drive.
yeah,
The hole-in-one also has the $350 price.
right, but I don't think you can even do it if you don't have a foursome. They're telling you a foursome is
Okay, yeah, so
a
the par
foursome's
3,
$125 apiece, right? So that's $500 for a foursome.
so for the 850, you would get 4 holes
Four
because there's 4
golfers.
par 3s.
Yeah, but
So
you
this
have,
is saying they're going to place a sign at each par 3, so you get 4 signs, a professional-made sign. So that's $850 for that.
I say longest drive.
Okay. So do we have a motion?
I make a motion to sponsor the
Support.
longest drive hole for $350.
support.
Okay. So that's
I
Walker
second.
and Lori did already. Yes, she did. Okay. All those in favor of the sponsorship for the longest drive at $350 for
Aye.
the GCPD? Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Okay, next item is other business. I'll let you go with that, Matt.
Okay, beginning on page 19 in your packet, this is a copy of the meeting notes from a shared meeting that we had with the DDA, the Planning Commission, the City Council. And Dr. Hyder, Mr. Berry, and Ms. Stately were all the committee from the DDA that were present at the meeting. Also, you see that Mayor Jacobs, Mayor Pro Tem Dole, Councilmember Witt, and then Planning Commissioners King, Williams, and Steenberg were all present at the meeting. And this just, first of all, the members that were there, does this reflect everything? Did I capture everything properly?
It was
Yes.
great, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, before I go on and say that I'm capturing what was done there, but we did have some good discussion. It was a very good meeting, and we talked about some main areas about master plan review, zoning ordinance amendments, and also about the MISH to Housing Readiness Grant. So the first is about master plan review. The Planning Commission has a requirement to review our master plan in 5-year increments. And so part of the master plan review is that we of course seek input from all boards and commissions, members of the public. And when we were discussing the master plan at the shared meeting, we were talking about how to make a a review of the plan and then what sections to update that we feel necessary, as opposed to a complete revision. The complete revision is costly, and so these sub-area plans can be broken down. In general, the city has, of course, a developed plan in place. We have single family, we have commercial, we have industrial, which the master plan addresses. And we don't have a lot of area for growth, and so we have a master plan that is in place and is not unchanging, but it doesn't include information for current trends, shopping, housing data. All of that was a little outdated, and so we had made some of the recommendations from the group and were given to the Planning Commission to start the process, was to look at, updating the community information such as housing, commercial floor area, commercial floor space, requirements for today's shopping trends. As you know, of course, shopping is changing in huge leaps and bounds. And when we last did the plan 10 years ago, we were able to shop a little more. We had more stores to shop at, even in Garden City and in the region. And of course, our largest shopping area, Westland Shopping Center, is almost now mostly vacant for shopping. So we've seen a lot of changes. And actually, just personally, if you'd ever told me, 30 years ago that Westland would be empty, I would never have believed it, because you couldn't even get a parking space around the holidays at that time. Yes, Amazon, COVID has changed a lot. So, and then also we talked about the Kmart site and trying to look at the Kmart site for what could be built there. And we talked about doing a charrette, what is kind of a public planning process, where we put down, of course the public's invited, and we put down what we would like to see at the site. And once we have a vision, we can look at, first of all, this could help market that for the property owners. And then also we could look at how we could accept that in our zoning ordinance and in the master plan. Right now, we have.
the bulk of that property right now?
LA Fitness does. So, and then there's the city owns a small portion. Then each of the property owners going east on Ford Road on the north side own a portion of that parking lot going all the way to Middle Belt almost. And so, again, if we have an idea of what could go there and what would be permissible, possibly it could help attract a developer to do what we say will work. So part of the thought process is time is money. If a developer knows that I can put this many houses there, or this many, condominiums, or this many housing units, and we could look at a density, what is acceptable to the community. A building height is another thing that is an issue to the downtown, so that we could look at, how we could create something, have a little vision of what could occur there. We don't own the property, so it's a little bit of a issue to us that we don't own, but we could maybe help, and the charrette won't be a huge expense, but it will help with guiding us to see what is permissible. What was made reference to at the meeting, not by me, but I mentioned it also, is kind of like the redevelopment that occurred at Plymouth and Farmington and Livonia, that density, that level of coverage. We could accommodate something there to help with the tax base and go from there. So that was a master plan review. We talked about zoning ordinance amendments and really about the zoning implications and these changes to the zoning ordinance to try to work on attracting businesses in the area. We looked at how it's kind of a learning curve for some of the members of the DDA, but the Planning Commission, they're kind of used to it. But it's always good to remind both everyone that was in the room about the implications of zoning. When we allow something to occur in one zoning district, we have to permit it. If you think like site-specific, then you have to also think that that can occur in that zoning district across the city. And so that's why we have to, when we make requests for changes, we have to think about the implications citywide and what those land uses are. One of the things that did come out of did come out of the zoning ordinance amendment, though, is we talked specifically about some automotive-related uses, either automobile washes or automobile fueling stations on property larger than 1.75 acres in the C2 as a special land use. And we were talking specifically about Middle Belt Road. We received a lot of interest in Middle Belt Road. I don't know if because Merriman's closed, developers are saying well, a lot of traffic is out over here and we could take advantage of it. I don't know. But we're looking at you know, making some changes, and we're going to make some of that recommendation that came from that meeting to the Planning Commission at the next Planning Commission. So we'll see how that goes. It is to, again, it's looking tired going from City Hall going north on some of those commercial strips. I know that also one of the larger, the gentleman that came here at the last meeting I found where he has purchased a property where Sinorama and Jenny's Pierogies is where he did purchase. We did help him with the alleyway separately that he was here talking about, but he does have plans for redevelopment of that and renovating that site. So, and of course the strip mall just south of there is really in very good condition too. So anything to add to it will make it better going north there. And then the final thing we talked about was the Mishta Housing Readiness Grant. We were able to obtain a grant for $50,000 to look at our housing stock and our ability for housing, what we call infill housing and different type of housing for affordability, density, and different housing types. One of the things that I feel is lacking, the group did feel is, you know, we don't have what we call kind of cradle to grave kind of housing that's permitted in the city. So where you're born here, you raise your family here, and then you could live in a smaller home when you get near retirement. We'd have one 55 and up community. But you know, maybe we could look at something else that could do that, or even a nursing home kind of American house. There is some available property in the single family zoning district that we would have to make some amendments to the ordinance to permit if something, you know, if someone wanted to develop something like that. So that was in general. I think it was a good group, a lot of good discussion, and is there anything that anybody else would like to add, or?
Well, did we find out, is the grant able to pay for that charrette that we discussed?
I believe so, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
So we haven't got the scope worked out yet, but we are working on that.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody has.
I just want to thank Dr. Hyder and Mr. Berry for coming out there to represent the DDA, and then obviously the other groups with our council and Planning Commission for coming together. Denise Stabley, our chairperson. Everybody that came out. We had a good group, and it was a good discussion. Learned a few things, and I think it was helpful, and I think it brought all three groups, council, DDA, Planning Commission, kind of together on a same plan that you just brought to
It was
us.
good for like a planning geek like me. I got
Yeah.
to point to a map on a wall, and you know, that was fun.
It was nice seeing the Radcliffe Center too. That's the first time I see
Yeah.
that. That's
really enjoyed that.
impressive.
Should've been there for the ribbon cutting.
You know what? That was impressive. I liked it.
Okay. All right. Moving on to the banner update.
Don is there.
Hi. Just a quick update. The banners started going up, just so everybody knows, if you're watching in the general public. The Hometown Hero banners, they're all printed, and they started going up yesterday. They'll be up by the end of the week in time for Memorial Day.
awesome.
So if you could maybe speak about that at your ceremony on Monday.
Yep.
Memorial Day ceremony is Monday at 11 at City Hall right out front.
Right, we're trying to come up with a contingency plan in case of rain.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
as of right now, we're there.
So for the general public's information and yours, downtown, they're going up on the light poles now. So, and they look great, and we put out a social media post about it yesterday, and it's getting rave reviews. So something exciting and positive and to honor the veterans. So excited about that. Any questions on that? Everybody good?
I've heard only good things about it so far, and I
Great.
know they just started coming out.
And if anybody's watching and they don't know, we're looking to do this again next year, but with different veterans that weren't able to do it this year because it filled up so fast.
Do we know how long the list is already for next year?
I have 13 or 14, I believe, for
Okay.
next year,
And we have
so
44 slots available.
just 40,
40.
40?
Mhm.
Okay.
40, that's
40.
correct.
so 26 more to go.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, pretty
But
cool.
we're not opening that up until next year, right? Like, we're closed off for this year.
Yes, we'll accept any that come along, so,
Okay.
you know. Yeah, I've
Okay.
got the waiting list. Part of the concern, you know, we took it down from the website, I didn't want people to be disappointed that we couldn't accept them, so.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody is listening, they can submit their information, we created a waiting list, so.
Okay, perfect. Any further discussion on that from table? Okay. Next is the Lucky Squirrel. So
Yeah, we had our first event, May 18th, this past Saturday. Went off great. We had 150 spaces that were all full. We had 4 cancellations that came out about that day, so that happens, but it's pretty low. So great attendance by vendors. It seemed like it was great attendance. It was a beautiful day for it. Great attendance by residents and whoever came through. We're going to do some logistics corrections, but it went off no problem. Page 21 of your packet gives the P&L as of Saturday. There's one expense on there was the porta potties, but we reduced the cost on that from $1,300 down to $900, so a little savings there. And that's income to date as of May 18th on the bottom there. So that number will go up there because we had some more applications accepted. The next event is July 20th. July 20th. We're almost full for that. Probably, I want to say 11 more spots is what I remember off the top of my head.
Is 150 the max?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep, 150 is the max.
And cancellations don't get refunded, right?
Right. Yeah, that's been the policy on all the paperwork, just not refund
Okay.
cancellations, so.
How many spots were left?
I think it's 11, if I remember right. But it'll be guaranteed to be, so I fill it and then I do a waiting list. Like even last Saturday, I had a waiting list of like 7 or 8, and I moved about 5 of those up before the event, so we try to keep it full on. So
Thank you.
Matt came out, Matt was out there all day with me. Thanks, Matt, pretty awesome.
Very hot.
So, yeah.
I was gonna say, where's your suntan?
So, it's all good.
There we go.
I told him to go home, but he's like, no, I'm gonna stay, so bring your sunblock.
All right.
Anything else on that?
No, I don't have anything. Anyone
Okay.
else? Next, flower baskets and irrigation.
Yeah, Joe Barson called today. Flower baskets are ready to go up. So I talked with Gary Carter about that. He's in the process of making that happen. So that'll help beautify the downtown. The irrigation system for those flower baskets is active and energized now, so that's ready to go. And then we got the Commons Corners energized today, but we have a water meter leak issue that I'm working with Steve Mahalik on to get fixed. But once that's adjusted, it'll be live and ready to go. I believe the Garden Club is working on flower planting sometime this weekend, I think
Yes.
is their plan.
Is their plan, yes.
And they'll plant flowers inside the flagpole hoop
Right.
at the Commons. So that's ready to go. So the sprinklers are ready for that.
Okay.
Looking good for Monday.
So it's
Good.
all prepped up. Gary
Right.
prepped the
Yeah,
area?
yeah, by Monday, we should be all full on down there,
Okay.
okay?
Part of our donation to the Garden Club, we usually buy them lunch to do that, but they had asked for a sponsorship for the Garden Club event. I forget the name of the event that they are hosting. And I decided we would actually save maybe a little bit of money and give them $200 for their event to host part of their luncheon.
Oh, is
at-
that
At a
for
later
the-
date as opposed to.
For the flower walk?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. And as opposed to them all going out, us paying for their lunch or getting lunch for everybody, I thought that we would do that. So we did make a donation to the Garden Club to do the planting on our behalf, and then they're going to use the money, not on that day, which we, in the past, used a credit card and went to the cafe and ate, but I think they come and want to go home because they're tired and dirty and all that, so.
Okay. All right. No further discussion on that one. We'll move on to the chili cook-off.
Yes, the mayor, John, and I are going to get together as soon as possible to start working on everything we have. So that's all we have to report. September 7th is the date. We're working on a myriad of things, music, liquor license, tents, all of that are necessary for the public event.
Volunteers.
Volunteers.
Yeah, I think I have the last application for the liquor license that we submitted, if you want that.
Okay.
Yeah, I started a new one.
Yeah, John
Okay.
did start.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in process. We're gonna submit that, first next week.
Oh, okay. All right, good. So nothing else on the chili cook-off. We can move on to public comments for non-agenda items only. But we
Anybody?
still have no one in the audience, so we will move on to the director's report.
Yes, I wanted to just let you know that I attended the GCBA Business to Business event that was hosted at Radcliffe, and I was able to meet, there were about, I think, 16 to 20 businesses there. So it was good to meet them. They were able to exchange information with me. I was able to exchange information with them. Public was invited. It was not as well attended as I would like, but it was still a good chance to meet business owners here that are existing, and then also there were some kind of startup businesses that were there just trying to get a foothold. Either they're going to do an online business or maybe open a storefront. I spoke with an accountant that is looking for a storefront specifically, identified a couple locations for her to look at. So it was good to be a part of that, and I took information for the city, the DDA there for that, and it was a nice event.
Did I know I got a card about it, but did we reach out to the city, to us, for advertising, also putting it on our website and getting it out there? And if we didn't, something to help them going forward next year, if they do it again, which I'm
They were
assuming
on
they...
the agenda for 2 times, I believe, before the event, for
Okay.
the council.
Do we put it on the website, I guess, because,
I don't know.
okay.
I
Okay.
believe we did. We reached out to Jackie at one point, and she provided something for us. So actually, we did put it on the website.
Okay,
I forgot, but now I remembered. Okay.
that's all right, we can help them with some more advertising if it wasn't as well attended as you would have liked.
Do you think that has to do with the time as well? Because business owners, a lot of them are working maybe
It
during the
was a
day. Because I
Monday,
think it was a
yes.
daytime
Yep.
event, right? So maybe they could do like a later afternoon or weekend event?
That
At
was
Radcliffe,
suggested.
maybe?
That was
Okay.
suggested.
All right. Okay, anything else with that? If not, we'll move on to the office closure.
We're moving along with that, and actually tomorrow is moving day at the office. One of the things I wanted to let you know, though, which is important, is that we were able to port the phone over to, it will ring here at the city. It'll actually ring on my desk, and we're able to keep the 261 number.
Oh, good.
So that, I thought, was a positive thing. Of course, there is a one-time charge, so we have to pay out the rest of our contract, which was $577, I believe, and then they'll charge us $10 for some fee, I don't even know, and then we will have a $3 reoccurring charge for just the additional phone number in our phone system at the city.
Okay.
So
When do we stop paying rent over there? Is it,
we made our last payment, so for May.
so that's saving us how much a month?
I did just a little calculation. Roughly, our monthly, just a minimum is $1,353.82. That's with the rent, bow, electric, the copier. And so total for the year is about $16,245
Cool.
at a minimum.
Thank you.
That's good.
Also, we did find a home for the copier. The police department will be taking over the remainder of the lease. It will be moved over tomorrow, and then I'll have to work with Skynet Technologies to do all the hookup of that, so that because the copiers also act as a scanner, they're connected to the email, It's going in the investigation bureau at the police department, so.
Okay, and what about the purchase that you made, that's gonna be housed at DPW?
The shipping container is
Okay.
there.
And Gary will have access to it as he needs, for
Yes.
anything?
Yes.
Okay,
I also did make a request to the DPW department so that we have power to it. So we'll be able to not have a permanent connection, but we'll be able to have power back there on that south wall of DPW. There is not electrical outlet, but we're going to have electrical outlets so that we'll be able to test the lights and things like that that Gary wants to be able to do inside the building, so,
oh, that makes sense.
as opposed to him standing outside and all of that. So
Okay.
we'll be able to, we'll have that in place, plus we need lighting in there also when we go in there too, so. So
Okay,
we'll get that taken care of.
good.
So, okay,
All right, next item is the MDA webinar.
yes. So I went to, I just attended a webinar for the Michigan Downtown Association. They have, it was, I believe, $50 is what the cost was to get the webinar. But it was really, I wanted to just make sure, it was regarding the Public Act 57 of 2018, which is a revised DDA act that kind of replaced our former laws that were in place. And specifically, it was about the compliance requirements for the DTA reporting requirements and also a timeline for those reporting requirements. And why I wanted to attend was, of course, there was kind of a lag between Kim and I. John was an interim, and there were things I just wanted to make sure that we're in compliance, because one of the things they said was, if you're not in compliance, they can take our TIF away, and we don't want that to occur. And so I wanted to go. I didn't even have to go, I just did it in my office. And I was able to gather some information. A couple of things I wanted to bring to our attention was the website specifically, which is the next item, and it kind of goes together, is that we weren't in compliance in the website. So I've been making some improvements and changes to that, specifically with the financials, the audit that wasn't there, the listing of the contracts. All of that is public information, which we had. It was just all had to be gathered together and put out on the website. So I did put that all out there, and then there was one other item that I wanted to make sure. On the website, we also, we have to make sure that the updated plan was there. We did the whole process, it wasn't there. Just little things like that. But I've been checking off, going down the list to make sure we're in compliance with the website. And then one of the other things that was in the act was that we're supposed to be having these informational workshops where we invite the public. It would be before the board also, but it's just a synopsis of everything we did, and actually it's required twice a year. And so we're going to be doing that. But one of the things that we're required to do is we're required to invite the taxing agencies that are not receiving our funds. So the Huron-Clinton Metro Park, the transit, those things, they all have the right to make sure that we're spending money on what we've said we're spending money on. So we have to contact the clerks of those organizations so that we can make sure that we're doing it all. So it's a good time to, of course, look at what we've done and accomplished, how much money's been spent, all of that. So I will be working on that for the August meeting that we will have in place. So we'll invite those boards that are necessary and just make sure that we do that. And they're called informational workshops in compliance with Public Act 57.
Okay, would we be doing that like ahead of or after a typical meeting date, or would we have to set a specific separate date?
Yep, they said we could do it actually during our meeting.
Okay.
We actually can even have them during the city council meeting also. There's two avenues we could do it at too.
Okay.
So
All right,
I think we should have them here. We should invite those members here so they can see us.
okay,
So
good job.
I'm working on that. So that was all I had.
Okay. All right, next we have trustee board comments. Do we have anything from you, Dr. Hyder?
Just, let's get that parking lot taken care of.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Mr. Walker,
I'm good.
nothing from you? Walkonis?
I support Dr. Hyder.
Thank you.
Take care of his work a lot.
Dr.
Sorry, one more comment. We're gonna be shoveling off a lot of that asphalt that's trickled on our way, because it's pretty bad. All of the, when they scoop it in, it just scoops right back out into my lot, so that'll be coming out soon.
Okay.
And it won't go back in the lot, so.
I would agree though, that really needs to be cleaned up a little bit, so.
Any other comments? Mr. Berry?
Nothing at all.
Mayor Walker? Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor Jacobs. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, the inside, I thought that was all last night. Now we still got more
That was for forgetting
insult.
me for, attending the workshop.
I know we look a little, man. No, I just want to say, thanks for joining and wanting to contribute and volunteer your time and, your insight.
Thank you for having me.
As everybody knows, it's tough to find a lot of volunteers, and with all the boards and commissions we have, sometimes it gets really tough to find volunteers for all different boards. So I personally want to thank you, along with everybody else, but being the newest, thank you.
And on that note, we are still short a member for the DDA, and the member has to reside in the district. And so we're struggling to find some volunteer that will do that. So we're still looking, if you know somebody that lives in the district.
That's a tough resident, because you gave me the list of every resident in the area, and it's a
Unfortunately, you think the Towers is in the district, and it is not. And we would be able to get volunteers from there, but they're not in the district. We found a person that was interested, but they lived about 300 feet outside of the district, and we can't not be in compliance that way.
Can we make
so.
one unit of my operatories as a suite, and we can call that residential, and bring my assistant in, make her living there?
I don't think she wants to be that close to work every day.
No. So I would also like to welcome Dr. Clark to the board. Thank you for participating. And I just want to make sure that, the board knows, I don't know if you guys have announced it, but, last night was Doc's last meeting for city council. So I know some of you have worked with him. He's taken a job in the state of Florida. So he won't be the city manager any longer, and we will be seeking a new city manager.
Doc is gone?
we have our interim
Yes.
acting city manager
Matt
right
has been
there.
appointed.
So when you're complaining about the parking lot, I know just who to go to.
So we can cover a lot of things with Matt.
But yes, Doc will be here for another week. Officially, his last day is June 2nd, next Sunday. I believe it's next Sunday,
How long has he been?
or a week from Sunday. I'm
Like
sorry?
6 years or
He's been here a little over 6 years.
Yeah.
So he's going to Florida. Personally, I believe it's a big loss for the city, but
Yeah, I
He's
just thought the
moving
board
on and-
members would want to know,
Yeah.
that if you've engaged
Well,
with
they
him,
say,
he's gone.
once you go to Florida, you always come back, so they'll be back.
I never heard that.
he will be down in Deltona, which is
Daytona?
Deltona, it's just.
It's right outside
north
of Daytona.
Fake Daytona.
Just north.
It's close to Daytona. I don't know the map, but
It is,
it's
just
close.
north,
Dr. Hyder, what do you know about Daytona?
stone's throw.
I don't. I know they do some
He forgot
car
about-
racing.
Race down there. Are you driver? Sponsor driver?
Isn't there a bike show that they do there?
Bike week, yeah.
There's a bike week, yeah.
Down in Daytona, yeah. I forgot about that. Maybe Doc's going there. He's going to buy a bike and
There you go.
All right,
I want to see that.
so with that, our next meeting is scheduled for June 25th. And if there's no further,
Matt, so for one, I'm sorry, June 25th, because I know we had a conflict with Parks and Recs. We've got that straightened out. We're going to be here. Parks and Rec will be at Radcliffe.
okay. Thank you for working on that.
And if anybody's not, can we contact John or Matt with a yes or a no if you're going to make meetings?
Well, you're talking to the board members that are usually here.
Well,
So,
but again, we can reach,
You still want a yes?
I believe so, because we were sitting here and,
Got it.
I can
Yeah.
do the group message. I'll do the group text. I forgot this time, but I will do that, you know, like,
we're gonna dock your pay.
yeah. I can do that like the Friday before.
Okay.
You know,
I think a yes,
that
you know, a
gives
yes or a
people
no would be good.
Advance notice. Okay. All right, with that, we will adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Thanks.